I'm Andrea Hempstead, Assistant Professor of Graphic Design at Texas A&M University-Corpus Christi. This presentation will examine the use of feminine archetypes as a marketing tool. We will compare and contrast their use on women's suffrage postcards and in internet memes by looking at context, use, and message to analyze the role of humor, social identity, and gender beliefs. The research methods used here were literature reviews as well as textual and visual analysis of ephemeral works. The collective unconscious, defined by psychoanalyst Carl Jung, are expressed through universal concepts called archetypes. We will look at 7 feminine archetypes: the mother, the queen, the lover, the sage, the innocent, the mystic, and the hero. In marketing, an archetype is a genre to a brand, based upon symbolism. Brand archetypes in marketing anchor the brand against an icon already embedded within the conscience of humanity. Aligning icons with a brand archetype makes the brand easier to identify. By studying ephemeral works, we gain insight into prevailing beliefs and how they are agents of communication. During the golden age of postcards, sending, receiving, collecting all types of postcards became an international phenomenon. This era of postcard proliferation coincides with the golden age of suffrage memorabilia. Suffragists developed multiple forms of visual rhetoric to mass market their message. The constant presence of the topic of suffrage in daily life was reflected in the over 1,000 different varieties of suffrage-themed cards that were published. We will focus on those that used illustrated images and text to convey anti-suffrage messages. Humor has been shown to soften the message of otherwise combative and controversial messages, especially in regard to political discourse. Disciplinary humor works to mock those outside of social norms, while rebellious humor mocks and subverts established rules and conventions. Women have long been marginalized in public realms using repressive disciplinary humor. This includes the expectation that females restrain themselves and repress sexual and aggressive drives. Women did not create humor of their own. Instead, they were the butt of sexist jokes. Sexist humor is based upon beliefs that women are inferior by portraying them as stupid, illogical, ignorant, or irresponsible. It also sexually objectifies women, can use implicit stereotypical feminine prototypes, and emphasizes the hierarchy of women as inferior to men by focusing on different features of men and women. All anti-suffrage postcards represent the use of sexist humor. These messages reflect the verbal arguments against suffrage in their portrayal of the coarsening effect that the vote would have on women. They show the deterioration of the positive or desirable qualities that are represented in the archetypes of mother, maiden, queen, and mystic. These were in direct contrast to the recurring imagery of the cult of domesticity during the Victorian era. These less desirable archetypes visualize the fear of the change in sex roles and the power that is associated with traditional societal structures. Anti-suffrage cards blame the suffrage movement for enacting these undesirable changes in women and the disruption of the accepted norms. The negative behaviors of the suffragette coincide with the archetypes of the lover, the sage, and the hero. They show the transformation of archetypes through a change in behavior. Here, the maiden has transformed into the sage. Finally, we also see the unspoken fears that men and the nation would become feminized by women's suffrage, while the women would become masculine, breaking the norms of the ideographs of woman and man. The term meme is a biological metaphor to describe a replication and mutation process. Internet memes come in a wide range of types and formats. Our focus will be on image macros. With Instagram alone reporting that over 1 million memes are posted daily in 2020, there's no question that memes are a prolific mode of communication. Memes exist as a cultural practice of belonging rather than an expression of creativity. Used to extend individual identity by connecting to like-minded or experienced others, they create a social community. In social communities, content that resonates with the majority receives upvotes and is curated based upon individual browsing and voting histories, making it easier for users to connect to like-minded individuals. Context is required for a complete understanding of the message between creator and receiver. The creator uses a shared experience to convey a specific message. Those outside of understanding may be able to interpret either the image or the text, but not the combination of the two. Internet memes use both disciplinary humor as well as rebellious humor. Sexist humor, including traditional stereotypes, are widely used. Men are now targeted equally. Feminist humor challenges traditional views of gender by targeting men and resists constructs of femininity and gender roles. Post-feminist humor is used in 2 themes: gender differences, or Mars and Venus, and individualism empowerment, tagged as girl power. The use of feminine archetypes in internet memes affirm or oppose the gender roles and behaviors that they represent as part of the collective unconscious. The power of the narrative has shifted where the creator and audience are typically connected by the message. Women can use them to expand on the common experience and connect to others through acknowledgement, solidarity, and humor. The conversation still includes normative sex and gender roles, but also includes non-traditional roles. The criticism of these roles has changed and is expanding to include more acceptance of all choices and behaviors. The use has changed from only oppressive identity works to also include oppositional identity works. They are not solely used by men in power to further the adherence to normative gender roles. Women use them to affirm and acknowledge the natural transition and blending of these archetypes with no set or correct way of being. Meme creators can defend and champion ridiculed qualities or beliefs by reclaiming the power of the message. Samples analyzed stem from keyword searches representing the archetypes and their defined characteristics. Further systematic analysis of popularity in creators would be ideal to determine true intent, impact, and representation of popular beliefs. Thank you.